evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to this awareness session. Dream it, build it, live it. Imagine Cup 2022. Today, you are joining with an awareness webinar for the Microsoft Imaging Cup 2022, organized by the University of Sri Jayewardenepura with the help of Japura FOSS Community, ICING Student Branch, Student Association of Information Technology, Society of Computer Science, and E2 Lab. Before starting the session, I would like to briefly introduce what Imaging Cup is. It is an annual competition sponsored and hosted by Microsoft Corporation. The Microsoft Imaging Cup is more than just a technology competition. It is a program that hones the student community innovative capabilities. The program aims to create different technological solutions through student competitors to global issues in earth, education, health, and lifestyle. So, don't want to take too much of your time. Before that, with immense pleasure to welcome our honorable guest speakers, Mr. Prabhat Manaperuma, Partner Technology Strategist at Microsoft, and Mr. Nisanka Senaviratna, Microsoft Imaging Cup 2019, Europe, Middle East, Africa Regional Finalist. Let me remind you that if you have any suggestions, clarifications, or questions during this session, raise your hand or feel free to ask your question in the chat box. Please be kind enough to keep your mic muted until. Let's move to the first part of the session conducted by Mr. Prabhat Manaperuma. Over to you, sir.
All right, great. Thank you, Madhurika. Let me share my screen. Madhurika, can you confirm whether my screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. All right, good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you, Dr. Lasit, and the all organizing committee members, including IEEE, FOSS Community, to all the communities you have established inside Jayewardenepura University. Thank you so much for organizing this webinar to raise the awareness of your students on Microsoft Imaging Cup. As Madhurika mentioned, Microsoft Imaging Cup is a global competition. It's happening annually since like 20 years back. So this is, this year we are celebrating 20th anniversary. Over the past couple of years, we have seen a good momentum. Many students are joining Imaging Cup from Sri Lanka and Southeast Asia new markets. 4 years back, till 4 years back, we used to have a local Imaging Cup competition, but due to various changes and structural changes, during last 4 years, we didn't have that local level competition. Instead of that, when you submit your entry for Imaging Cup, it was going through Asia level online competition, which had more than 5,000, sometimes more than 5,000 entries, and the probability rate of having a winner or a number of teams going to world finals and that level was really low, unfortunately. But this year, considering all these facts, Microsoft Sri Lanka team and Southeast Asia new market team came together and went to our core teams and managed to get this regional level competition for you. So this time we have this Southeast Asia new markets Imaging Cup competition, which is only open for students from Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Cambodia, Brunei, Nepal, Bhutan, Laos, and Maldives. So our key focus countries would be Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Nepal. Our previous year number of submissions, the enthusiasm or engagement going on with universities and all. Among them, Sri Lanka is one of our key focus countries. And when you look at these countries, you can see what sort of, how the probability of getting through to the world finals is really high So you have to like take this opportunity to get the most out of this competition round which you are having this year to Imaging Cup 2022. So let me go ahead with the presentation. So as I mentioned earlier, this is the 20th anniversary, 20th time we are having Imaging Cup. So Imaging Cup has changed a lot of like people life during the last 20 years. So we have one of such individual joining with us today, Nisanka. He will like share more details, and most importantly, he will share his own experience, like how Imaging Cup as a global competition helped him, and like how it's really helping him even in day-to-day life, and he's going through his startups and other career opportunities. So this year the theme is together. So these are the 5 main steps you have to follow when you are applying for Imaging Cup. Basically, you need to come up with a team. You need to identify your team members, and then of course you have to, like when you're building the team, you have to identify the problem statement and the solution you are bringing to solve it. And then like if you feel like there's a knowledge gap, you can always learn together, and then you have to build the solution, and then you can compete with other teams who are competing in the Imaging Cup, and then you can showcase, and end of the day you can win. I mean, these are the 5 steps in high level you have to go through in order to get into the Imaging Cup, or get the Imaging Cup trophy to your university or to Sri Lanka as a country. So these are the, like, if someone asks me like why I should join Imaging Cup, so this is how I'm gonna answer. Most importantly, it's gonna be it's a competition. It's a global level competition. So you will have to compete with students from like different part of the world. So in this Southeast Asian new market level competition, as I mentioned earlier, you will be competing with 9 countries, students from 9 countries. And then if you are getting into next levels, you will have to compete with students from various other countries, more than 195 students from, more than 195 countries will be joining this competition global level. And so this competition is not just a competition, because like if you search on Google and Bing, search engine, maybe on YouTube, you can like listen to those success stories, how it has really impacted those students' life, how it has changed their life, what sort of opportunity they have there. And then upskill. So this is a great opportunity for you to upskill, because right now, most of you, I would say majority of you will be limited to your, maybe to your academic course content. Sometimes if you are doing a research, then you will be like going a little bit further and like trying to focus on those areas and trying to specialize and gain that skill and knowledge. And again, like by competing Imaging Cup, this is other benefits. So you can like gain a lot of other industry skill sets, because here you're going to solve a real world problem with technologies which is being used in the industry and by real organizations and companies. So you can skill up yourself while you're at universities, and because with the skill set knowledge you have right now, you might, that won't be enough for you to win the Imaging Cup trophy, right? Because you have to have that additional. I'm not just referring to technical know-how, because win Imaging Cup, you have to have technical knowledge, you have to have go-to-market knowledge, you have to have other business skills and essence. Because if you don't have that full package, it's not like ideal, right? Because that's why you need to have a team. That's where the importance of having a team comes into the picture, because as an individual, you might not have all these skills. But when you have team members coming from different backgrounds, you can build that required skill set within your team, within your project. So as a hint, it's highly recommended you to build a team. When you're building a team, at least have one person with some sort of a business know-how, business idea, like how to build a proper go-to-market plan, how to build a proper business plan kind of thing, how we are going to take it to the market. Because having technical, again, I'm saying like having technical know-how won't be enough here. So consider it, because when you are like looking at majority of our university teams, we see that gap, right? Because you only have the technical know-how. You are building a super product. One of best maybe in country or in world, but if you don't know how to sell it, how you position it, then you will fail, right? Because there are many such stories in the world, in the tech community as well. And then build. Of course, you have to build something, because majority of students are asking like whether you have to build something to apply for Imaging Cup. I would say yes, because people are having thoughts, right? I mean, they have so many ideas, they have so many things in their mind, but unless you create it, unless you face the challenges when you're trying to make it a reality, when judges are going through your submission, the confidence level is really low. But if you are, when you're submitting the solution, when you are submitting your idea on imagingcup.com, if you have something in hand, at least some sort of a tangible thing, if it's a product, like tangible product, and at least MVP, minimum viable product, then the probability of going to the next level is really high. So please keep that in your mind. And then learn. As I mentioned earlier, this is a great opportunity for you to learn with your team, and try to build a learning culture, not just for Imaging Cup, it would be benefitable even for your career lives. And then, of course, traveling was there. Thanks to COVID, that opportunity is not there even in this year, but you can anyway virtually travel to Redmond and compete with others. And of course, there are many exciting gifts which I'll be explaining in next few slides. So these are the benefits, 6 main reasons of registering or submitting your idea or being part of Imaging Cup worldwide competition. So this year also we have these 4 main categories, starting from Earth, Education, Health, and Lifestyle. So most of, these categories are pretty much aligned with Sustainable Development Goals if you are familiar with SDGs. So you have when you're submitting an idea, it has to be aligned with one of these categories. You can't say my idea is not aligned with any of these. It has to align with any of these. At least with one of these. If your idea or solution is aligning with many of these, you have to prioritize it. You have to find the most appropriate one. Maybe you can consider various other factors as well, because when you're selecting the category, you have to be strategic, because we are going to select winners from each category. Sometimes you might not get enough entries for health. Then when you're applying for health, the probability of getting to the next level is high, right? It doesn't mean we have to have one. If let's say we have only one submission for health, if that is also not up to the required level, that team won't advance to the next level. That's given in the terms and conditions, but that's not what I'm saying. But again, you have to be strategic when you're picking your category as well. If your solution is falls into multiple categories, sometimes your solution might be pretty much straightforward and falling into one category, you can go ahead with that. So you can read more about these categories. If you go to Imaging Cup, you can see the blog, and we have explained a little bit more. When you are trying to understand problem statements which are under these categories, you can go to United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, because these categories are pretty much aligned with them, and they have those sub-thematic areas under each sustainable goal. You can go through them and read the problems they have identified available in globe. Sometimes that problem statement might be in your house, right? With your neighborhood, maybe in your university. Likewise, you have to, if you are a person who is keeping your eyes and ears open, you might have that idea. So you can identify that idea and make it a reality and take it to the next level with Imaging Cup. So this is the competition setup. So you can ignore this epic challenge part, because that is already over. But basically, when you submit your entry, prepare the team and submit your entry, it falls under regional semifinals, Southeast Asian New Markets category. And from there, we will be selecting top 3 teams of each category, which means we have 4 categories, we'll be selecting 12 teams. Those 12 teams will be advancing to the regional finals. Right, so those top 12 teams will be here. We will be having a initial screening, which will be done by our panel of judges, and then from those entries we are selecting 12 teams. But those 12 teams will be presenting their idea in a live presentation, a pitching ceremony, with the current situation, most probably we will have to have it as a virtual event. But you have to come and present if you are lucky enough. If your solution is suitable enough to get into the next level, you will be shortlisted for sure, and you will have to present your idea live in front of panel of judges. And then if your solution is getting shortlisted or suitable to advance into the world finals, like we will pick top 4 teams from these 12 teams, which meaning like top teams of each category. So we have 4 teams, top team of each category will be advancing to the world finals. So there will be 48 teams coming to world finals from all over the world. So you have this designated seat at the world finals this time, thanks to this Southeast Asian new markets level competition. So that's why I'm again motivating you, highly encouraging you, just apply, because you might have gone through different competitions. You might have applied for different local competitions. Just apply for it. Just apply for it. I mean, if it is that level, you will be shortlisted. And then it will definitely change your life. So don't hesitate. Just go and apply. And then from these 48 teams, there will be 3 teams joining the World Championship. And then out of that, those 3 teams, there will be 1 winner. That 1 winner will be getting so many like gift items. So I will start from there. If you are gonna become the owner of that Imaging Cup Trophy this year, you will be getting $100K worth of cash prize. I think you can help the country as well, bring in some US dollars to Sri Lanka by like winning during this unprecedented time. So anyway, you can win $100K worth of USD worth of cash prize, and then you can bring the Imaging Cup Trophy to Sri Lanka to your university, and then you will be getting an exclusive mentorship with Satya Nadella, Microsoft's Chief Executive Officer, and also you will get $50,000 worth of Azure grant. Like Azure is Microsoft public computing platform. So those are the key points, important things you need to keep in mind. I mean, it's not just about prices, but these are the motivation factors as students, right? And here, like if you're going to be among top 12 teams, you will be getting 500 worth of Azure grant, and you will be getting access to a pool of mentors. Those mentors will be helping you to brush up your solution and take to the next level. So then national finalists, we will be having 4 national finalists. So those teams will be assigning a dedicated mentor. So that mentor will be helping you. That mentor should be a Microsoft employee, maybe from Sri Lanka or any other country. And also you get $1,000 value of Azure grant. And also you get $1,000 value of cash prizes. And there are many other gift items getting ready for you. So these are the timeline and pricing. So timeline, I will take it to the next, take it in the next slide. So we launched this event on 16th. So we had a nice event, virtual event. If you missed the event, go to Microsoft APAC YouTube channel, or go to Microsoft Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, all these countries Facebook pages. You can find this live video, go through it, because there were so many exciting information shared there. We had previous year winners who went to world finals in previous years, and we got all program leaders who are leading this program from USA. So all these people will speak in at the event. So just go through it. You can learn a little bit more about Imaging Cup competition if you listen to that conversations. And then we open for submissions on 15th of November, and it's open because you have exactly so you still have time. So you can apply for Imaging Cup and just go to imagingcup.com and create your team. If you are the team leader, when you go there, you can create the team. And then if other people have registered on Imaging Cup or having a Microsoft personal account, you can simply type their name or email ID. Then you will get the pop-up. You can select your other team member and add other team members like this. And then you have to submit your entry. So we will be having regionals. I mean, after closing the submission on 31st of January, we will be having this regional semi-final initially screening between 1st of February and 10th of February. Thereafter, we'll be announcing the live presentation date just for those finalists. which will happen between 11th and 25th of February. And by 25th of February, we'll be announcing the national finalists who will be advanced into World Finals or World Stage of Imaging Cup 2022. So this is the timeline of Imaging Cup. And also, like, I would like to just take 1 minute. I think I was conducting a separate session on Microsoft Learn as well, because Microsoft Learn is one-stop location where you can learn about Microsoft technologies and other all open source technologies. Because Microsoft love open source, I think we have FOSS community members as well. Because Microsoft is the largest open source contributor in last couple of years. If you are a person who is keeping your eyes open on technical news and other stuff, you should have known that. And with that, we always contribute to open source world, to GitHub acquisition and all, like what will happen. So open source is one of our key priorities of Microsoft. So Microsoft Learn is also dedicated for all these technologies. So you can learn. So these are some of the benefits. So step-by-step learning, and most of these courses are aligned with Microsoft Visual Certification as well. And then gamification achievements, so you can earn badges and achievements through through Microsoft Learn, and then friction-free learning, because when we are designing this content, we have followed all micro-learning content, because you and me don't have enough time, right? Because we might get only 5 minutes free time or 10 minutes free time. When we get that time, we can go to Microsoft Learn, log in, and then complete like 1 or 2 modules and come back and, continue the rest of the course content when you have time again. Likewise, all these functionalities are there. So highly encourage you to go to Microsoft Learn, not just for Imaging Cup, but even for Imaging Cup, when you are in that skilling level, you can go through Microsoft Learn and get that know-how. And again, we have different learning options, starting from micro-learning, online courses, instructor-led, and certification. Again, important as a university undergraduate as well. And I don't think we have Microsoft Learn ambassadors from Jayewardenepura University, as per my understanding. So if you're interested to give back to the community while you learn new things and connect with more people around the globe, you should apply for Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador Program. Just type this on, just type Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors on Bing or Google, your favorite search engine. You can get into that website and apply. I'm not sure whether applications are accepted in this timeline, but keep your eye open. It will be opening soon if it is not yet open. You can apply and become a Microsoft ambassador inside your university. Help your community and share these messages with them. Yeah, this is expired now, that campaign. Anyway, thank you so much again, Japura FOSS community and all the communities, IEEE, to all the communities who help us to make this live success. And Dr. Lasit, thank you so much for all your continuous support, and all academic and non-academic members who supported to make this a reality. Thank you so much. And please continue the momentum inside your university. Please encourage your students to apply for Imaging Cup whenever possible. Share the message, because sometimes you might be the only person coming from your batch. So please share that message with your friends, colleagues, and all, and encourage them to apply. If you have identified any such potential projects in your third year or second year, even first year, please encourage them, push them to apply for Imaging Cup, because it might help us to bring this trophy. Because as Sri Lankans, that's our whole intention. Thank you so much, team, again, for inviting us and having us. Have a good evening.
Thank you, sir, for your session. I have a reminder for you. We put feedback form to chat box. Please be kind enough to send your feedback to us. It's really valuable for us. And if you have any suggestions, clarifications, or questions during this session, raise your hand or feel free to ask your questions in the chat box. Let's move to the second part of this session, conducted by Mr. Nissanka Seniviratna. Over to you, sir.
All right, thanks for that. Just let me know when you guys can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks for that wonderful speech, Prataya. My speech lies in the whys and the hows of Imagine Cup. So why you should apply for Imagine Cup and how you should go about it. So again, I'm Nisang Seniratna. I currently work as head of customer success at APM Innovations. So I've participated in 2 Microsoft Imagine Cup competitions. So I like to share my experiences and how I went about it during this speech. So I'll come into the why section first. And I noticed that the number of participants are relatively low compared to the sessions that we had. And it actually made me more energized and more passionate about doing a part which I haven't told to other sessions, shared in other sessions, right? So actually, when I started my university and when I was in the first or second year, I was seeing all these flyers or posters saying, okay, this hackathon is happening or this coding competition is happening. And I was literally lost when I heard this word hackathon, because I was just a first year or second year student. I didn't have any mentors. So when I heard this word hackathon, I instantly thought, okay, I have to hack something and I don't know how to hack something, right? So yeah, I was instantly lost and I was instantly turned off by everything. And it applied when the competitions were termed as coding competitions as well, because I thought, okay, how can I, being a first or second year student, how can I compete with all these fourth year students or the best and the brightest in the country? I'm just nobody. I'm just a normal person. So how could I compete with it? And I always thought, okay, I wouldn't win it, right? So that fear was inside me always. So that's I'll just share how I overcame that fear for the 15 odd participants in this group. So what my goal is to get all 15 of you into applying to Imagine Cup. That's my goal basically. So some of you might be worrying, okay, this is a huge international competition. I won't have any chance of winning this or getting into these finals. So why should I apply? So that's one of the first questions that anyone would come up with, right? But that's not relevant. So in that context, what you should think is in game theory aspect, right? So in game theory, you always analyze whether what sort of outcome would happen by doing a certain action, right? So by doing this action of applying to Imagine Cup, what are the 2 outcomes that are possible? One outcome is you get selected and you get into the regional finals or world finals or whatever that is, right? The other outcome is you simply don't get selected, but does something bad happen to you during that outcome? No, right? You don't lose anything. You don't lose nothing. But if you get the good or the positive outcome, you have everything to get and everything to earn, right? So my advice is just don't be fearful, just go for it. Like be fearless, like how our cricket team says, play fearless cricket. Just go about it and pitch your idea fearlessly to the judges, and you might have a very good chance, because the competition is also, I'd say, somewhat open this time because of this regional nature. So I'll tell some of the things that I gained by applying to this competition out of nowhere. I didn't expect to win because it was a global competition, right? So I'm just nobody from a small university. I didn't think I was going to win, but I somehow applied and somehow got selected, and now a lot of things has happened. So yeah, the first thing that happened to me, it was an experience of a lifetime. I have tons of memories with tons of friends over there, and it was just wonderful. You get to travel to new countries. Unfortunately, this time, as Prabhat mentioned, I don't think that's an opportunity, but still you get to enjoy a lot of new experiences. And the other most important thing is you get all this valuable name recognition. So for example, when you apply to all these different companies after your graduation, almost every fresh graduate has the same CV. They had their university degree, they have their English certifications or whatever inside it, and some 2 or 3 projects, and they have their self-accredited language skills for 10 or 15 odd languages with stars. And I happen to like shortlist these people for interviews, and it's not an easy job because all these CVs, they look the same, right? There are no differentiation factors in between them. So we as people who are shortlisting, we have a very hard time doing the shortlisting process. But if you get the name recognition of going to something like Imagine Cup, because it's hosted by Microsoft, you get a huge advantage and a benefit, because your name gets published in all these top newspapers, all these top tech articles, or these bloggers or the vloggers, they come and visit you and they do articles about you, they do videos about you. You get tons of name recognition. And this name recognition also revolves around Microsoft, right? So that Microsoft's reputation also brushes off to you. So because of that, I think you get a huge advantage when you're applying for jobs, especially office job. And in addition to that, if even in the later parts of your career, when you are going and pitching an idea to an investor, or when you are doing a startup, you get a huge name recognition because you have competed in the global level, right? Not just in the Sri Lankan level. So you get a huge name recognition and a boost. Then comes a strong network. So the people who usually apply for Microsoft Imagine Cup and the people who get into these regional finals, they aren't just fools, right? They are the best out of those countries. They are the best individuals. They are the strongest individuals. So for example, when I went to Imagine Cup finals in 2018 in the Asia Pacific finals, we had all these PhD graduates from KAIST University, NUS, Nanyang Tech, all these top universities in Asia. And when I went in 2019 to Europe finals, the participants were from Cambridge, Oxford, etc. They were the cream of that country. And after graduating, these people, they end up working in Google, Facebook, etc., or they start their own companies, right? So once you have a strong professional network like this, which you can't obtain by just staying in Sri Lanka, you get a huge benefit because you can use them as referrals in your future job applications, or you can use them to get basically any work for your startup if you are doing, or if you are into that. So you get the strong network. The VIP treatment, unfortunately, it won't be there this time, but I don't know if it happens. If you get a chance to go to these countries, you get the VIP treatment, you get to be in the best hotels, best places, best restaurants, etc. Because Microsoft just don't send you to a third class, a 3-star hotel, right? It always sent you a 5-star hotel. So yeah, you get a VIP treatment over there. So those are the why factors. Always go for it. Just don't be scared, be fearless, apply for it because you don't have anything to lose. So how to go about this? It's a 4-step process, I would say. So you have to define your problem, define your solution, validate that problem, and have the technical implementation as well, right? So one of the most common mistakes that most people or most students in Sri Lanka and even most startup founders do over here is since they are very strong techie guys, they always think in technical terms. They think of all these new languages or new bleeding edge technologies, and they come up with solutions, right? But those solutions aren't always a market fit because the market doesn't want it. So solutions like this almost always get rejected by judging panels wherever you go. So a good way to go about this is to find actual market problems which actually exist in the market and which actually impacts people. Yeah, so always define the problem. So when defining a problem, I'll say again a 4-step process. So these problems that you can solve can be of 2 kinds. One can be a small problem which impacts a huge crowd, or a large problem which impacts a small crowd. So just to give the differentiator between this. So for example, let's say Uber or Pick Me, right? So before Uber and Pick Me existed, how did you take a tuk late at night, especially if you're a female? After 10, no one would take a tuk, right? Because it was totally insecure, and even these tuk guys, they used to charge a hefty amount of money. So the prices went standard basically. So these issues are persistent for a long time. So Uber and PickMe, they identified these issues and they came up with their app. So these issues were actually a small problem, but it impacted the huge populace, even in Sri Lanka. So basically what they did was they solved that problem, and now see where they are. They are at a very good location, right? They are some of the most profitable startups in the country and even in the world. Then the second way to go about this is a large problem which impacts a small crowd. So for example, let's take Virgin Galactic. So Virgin Galactic or these Blue Origin, what they do is basically they provide space tourism, right? But who does this benefit? It's basically for, as of now, it's basically for a very small crowd of extremely rich people who don't have a way to spend their money. So they want new experiences always, and they have this childhood dream of going into space, but as of now, they didn't have anyone to take them to space. But Virgin Galactic and Blue Origin, they identified this market. They saw, okay, the small number of people in this world, they have the money, but they want to go to space as well, but there's no company which is helping them do that. So they came up with this product of rockets or whatever you call it, and they basically solved that problem. So that's another way of going about it. So after you identify those problems which exist in the market, get feedback from focus groups. So for example, if the problem is related to education, always talk to students, parents, and teachers, principals, school administrators, or university administrators, whatever, focus groups, people who are in that particular domain, because they will have more insight than you on that idea, on that problem, sorry. So once you get that feedback from them, you would be able to refine, and you would be able to see whether that problem is a real problem or not. So if that's a real problem, then you should be able to refine using their feedback. Yeah, and always ask the question, why would this product be useful for the general populace? It shouldn't just be useful for you, because you shouldn't be the only customer in your product, right? Then it's pretty useless. So it should be a product that is useful for others. So always ask the question why it would be useful for the others. Solution definition. So after defining the problem, you should define the solution, how you are going to solve this problem. So for this, define a non-technical solution for the problem. Yes. So what certain people do is when they see a problem, they think, okay, I should code this from Node.js or Nest.js or React Native, etc. So that's not the way to go about it. Simply work up a pseudocode or a flowchart, a very non-technical way of solving this problem, and define that in a piece of paper or in a document, etc. And after you define that solution, particular solution, you might have 2 or 3 solutions. Just pitch it to different people again, different focus groups, and validate if that problem is a real problem, if that solution is an effective solution or not. So you should definitely do that. Now, after you have a chat with all these focus groups, you should be able to see if your solution will in fact solve the problem. And again, you should be able to refine it. So yeah, this third step. So after you have this real good problem and the solution, you should take it forward, right? You should take it forward and convince the judges that this problem is real and your solution is effective as well. So this is actually a real hard part. So just for you guys to be aware, these judges, they are going through hundreds of submissions each day, and it's a pretty painstaking process, right, to go about hundreds of videos of people just talking gibberish. So during your pitch, always in the first 30 or 40 odd seconds, or even in the first minute, make it extremely impactful. Talk numbers, talk how it would impact environment or people, talking numbers always. Basically talk like if your product doesn't exist, people would die. I mean, you don't have to tell that, but you should always talk about the impact and the numbers in the first minute, so the judge's attention wouldn't shift away. Yeah. And after you have this really strong pitch, go about and again present it to different audiences or to your friends, and always ask them to ask questions from you on that pitch. So when they ask questions from you, then you'd know, okay, these kind of questions would be asked by the judges as well. So you'd be able to include those answers in your pitch. This way, the judges won't be left with doubts after hearing your pitch, basically. And always include a financial analysis in your pitch as well, because this is something that most people miss about. So just talk about few numbers, like a few predictions on the next 6 months or next 2 years, and how we are going to find about the cost benefit analysis as well. Then I'll talk about the least important thing, which is the technology. It's not the least important thing, but many of you know how to do that probably, right? But again, something that most people do miss about is they use the latest technology instead of using the most appropriate one. So always go into the most appropriate one, not the latest technology, and always use the technology which you can take this product into the market really fast, right? So for example, if you can use JavaScript instead of Java and develop an application in a very short period of time, always go with JavaScript. That's just an example. And do not use the technology just for the sake of it. Use that to use the technology as a tool, right? So you should always use that for your benefit. That's it. So that's all from me. If you all have any questions, just you can, I guess, drop them into the chat. Yeah. Thank you.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I have one question. I think before that sir explain it, can you please repeat it again, that what are the requirements for a team? How many members?
Yeah, that I'm not extremely aware of the rules and regulations. So if Prabhat is here, maybe you can speak with him, or maybe you can visit the Imagine Cup website for those information.
Yeah, I think he's not here. I'll use the website.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right then.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you
for your session. I hope it is really a great and valuable session for our delegates. Thank you both of you for giving your valuable time to us. Thank you, sir. I again remind you, please be kind enough to send your feedback to us. We put feedback form to chat box. Finally, at this moment, we would like to remember the contribution of everyone who came together with various ways to succeed in today's program, especially the participants. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Good night all and stay safe.